Oh, hello everybody, how you doing? Welcome back to my channel. I haven't been on for a good couple of months now. I've been very busy, doing a lot of personal stuff, family stuff, and generally trying to put some finishing touches to the house, fix the leaking roof, doing some stuff outside in the garden, trying to make it look presentable and finished. So that's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. But welcome back to my channel. Today's offering is I'll just give you an update on how my life is. I've been here a year and a half now in the Philippines, and how I'm settling in, adapted, any changes, and just generally giving you some info about the difference between living here and living in the UK. As I said, I left the UK April 2023. I received my state pension January 31st, 2023, which enables me to live here, which finances me to live here. Otherwise it wouldn't be possible. And we already had the house built, albeit unfinished, but that's why I've been busy doing bits and pieces. And I think I've passed the honeymoon period now, so I can give you some information as to how it's going for me. So that's what today's video is all about. And again, I'm sorry for not being on for so long. Thanks for all my loyal subscribers who are stuck with me. So let's talk about the UK first. Why I left the UK. I pretty much left the UK because financially I don't think there was any way in the world that I'd be able to afford to live there. The state pension, for what it is, for what I get, wouldn't be enough to sustain a comfortable life there. But the cost of living going up and everything else going up, for what I earn or what I get every month, it wouldn't have been possible for me to have a comfortable life there, which is what I've worked all my life for, to retire and to enjoy my retirement. So me and my wife made the decision to move here. Before we did make the decision to move here, we'd already built a house, as I've already explained. And that was pretty much the main reason for the move. There are downsides. The downside is that I've got family there, and I miss my family, but we discussed it, and they gave me their blessing, well, support, should I say, and said do what you feel is good for you. And that's what we did. Coming to the Philippines, at first you have to acclimatise, and it takes time to acclimatise, trust me. The weather, obviously much different to the UK. There's two seasons here, a rainy season and a hot season. And when it's hot, it's very, very hot, and it's uncomfortable at times. I've since had aircon installed in one of the rooms here, so that's my sanctuary. If I get too hot, I could go and sit in there. But if you're sensible, stay out of the sun, you know, when it's at its height. You know, midday to 3 o'clock is the hottest part of the day. Stay out of the sun for obvious reasons, but you dehydrate. You've got to drink plenty of water, as I keep saying. And don't expose yourself to the sun longer than 5 minutes, because you'll burn. Simple as that. On the flip side of that, the rainy season is quite refreshing. When the rain kicks in, it does rain, and by God it does rain. When it rains, it hammers it down. We're in the midst of a low depression at the moment, so I mean, it's okay. During the day it seems to be sort of not as hot, but it's still very hot, 32 degrees I think. But in the evening it sort of like clouds over and it rains. We've got the mountains just across the way from us there, and it comes in across the top of the mountains and it just unleashes the rain. We do get the occasional typhoon coming through. Luckily, so far, the typhoons that we have had have passed by on the northeast side of us. So we've got the flip with the tail of that, which of course brings lots and lots of rain. Some places have been flooded. areas, floodplain zones, floodplain areas have been flooded. There's been one big storm, it was I wouldn't say it was a typhoon, it was a really bad windy day, not like the typhoon we had last year, and it was quite intense, and it flooded certain areas, and people were displaced as usual, but they get on with life here. If they get displaced, they just pick themselves up, dust themselves down and get back on with it. And that's one of the main differences between here and the UK. People adapt. Rather than complain about it, it makes national news at home when you have a bit of rain and a bit of flooding. Nothing compared to here. And it's moan after moan after moan, warranted in some cases, but here they just pick themselves up and get on with it. The culture, it's a very different culture here, very different outlook on life. They're very friendly people. They do have rules, they do have laws, and as a foreigner, and there's many foreigners that I've spoken to that live here, and people that I know, abide by those laws, abide by those rules, and are accepted and respected. And it's reciprocated. We respect their traditions, we respect their culture, and we all get on like a house on fire. Unlike what's going on at home at the moment in the UK, which I will touch on very briefly, because by all accounts and reports, and I've been watching YouTube, and it's horrendous, it's scary. It's all over the social media platforms as well, of what's happening in the UK. So I'll very briefly touch on it. I've got to be careful what I say, because it appears freedom of speech has been taken away from everybody there. Freedom of speech now can get you prosecuted or even put in jail. So I need to be very, very careful. So this next section, I'll just briefly cover it. So referring to quickly what is going on in the UK, there is a website, labour.org.uk, which sets out the Labour Manifesto for them to implement when they come into power, which they did a couple of months ago. On the left hand side you've got manifesto chapters heading, and then you've got various chapters, one of them which is it says strong foundations. I really suggest you go on this website and read this. This is what has been promised to the British people, and I'm going to quote from this. It's not coming from me personally, from my mouth. I'm quoting from their manifesto. From the strong foundations, it states, and I quote, "Britain is a tolerant and compassionate country. We have a proud tradition of welcoming people fleeing persecution and abuse," and it goes on. When it goes down, "The system needs to be controlled and managed, and we need strong borders. The small boat crisis, fueled by dangerous criminal smuggler gangs, is undermining our security and costing lives." I think this is pretty much the main gripe with the British people. And when I say British people, I'm talking about legal, indigenous and immigrants who have legally settled in the UK. I'm talking about all colours, creeds, whatever. I'm talking about all nationalities that are legally in the country. This is what they want from the British government. They're setting up plans to return people. It states here that failed asylum seekers can swiftly be sent back, and also upstream working with international partners to address the humanitarian crisis which lead people to flee their homes, and to strengthen support for refugees in their home region. Okay, so that's one of the chapters, one of the promises. It goes on and it goes on. If you go flick down another couple, it says "Take back our streets." And if you click on it, "Take back our streets," and scroll down to the top there, it says how Labour will take back our streets. crack down on antisocial behaviour with more neighbourhood police, tough new penalties for offenders, a plan to get knives off the streets, which is another main concern for the people of the UK, a specialist rape unit in every police force, another big major factor that people are griping about, and obviously women and children, the aggression towards women and children needs addressing. Also, cracking down on antisocial behaviour. I'll just scroll down to the knife crime action plan. It's quotes here: knife crime has been rising for a decade, claiming far too many young lives. It's a national crisis requiring urgent action. And then he goes on to crucify the other party about their misgivings and what they haven't done in the last 14 years. And what they're saying is here, and I quote, "To get knives off our streets, Labour will ban ninja swords, lethal zombie-style blades and machetes, and strengthen rules to prevent online sales." And it goes on. Well, I've seen YouTube videos of gangs of youths roaming the streets with machetes, so that's not happened yet. It just keeps going on and on and on. And then it goes, tackling violence against women and girls. For too long, violence against women and girls has been ignored. I really suggest that you read this. It makes for very interesting reading as to what has been promised to the British public. And it's pretty much the events that have happened over the past month in particular that have highlighted and brought all the unrest in the UK with the right, racist, far right and the far left having a go at each other, rioting. Come on guys, stop doing this. It's not helping your cause. If you riot, you're turning people's cars over, you're setting light to them, you're setting light to various religious establishments, you're setting light to hotels. You're just making a rod for your own back here. You're making it worse for yourselves. If you're going to protest, do it peacefully, because this is exactly the sort of person that they're talking about that they want to stop. Far right. I mean, there are racists in the country, we know that, and the far right are not doing us any favours at all. Now, the majority of indigenous British people, patriotic British people, are being labelled and tarred with the same brush because of this. And the left are picking up at it, and they're doing counter demonstrations, and they're flying the flag of another country and save this and save that, and it's all going crazy. It's just a minefield of anarchy, and that is another good reason why I feel that I don't really want to be in the UK anymore. And that is as far as I'm going to go on this subject, because as I say, the freedom of speech is not allowed anymore. But all those were quotes from the British Labour Party, who are the governing control of the country right now, where all this is going on right now. And the Prime Minister is the one who implemented and made this manifesto. So it's not from my mouth, that is from the horse's mouth. Now, the Philippines, on the other hand, is completely different. You do not see protests in the street. You do not see unrest. You do not see people flipping cars over and setting light to them. You do not see fights in pubs. You do not see fights in the street. At sporting events, you do not see two sets of supporters fighting each other. The difference is just unbelievable here. Everything is relaxed, calm, and it's just a beauty to behold. So from that aspect, the Philippines has just gone 2-0 up. I can safely say that this place gives you a sense of well-being, a sense of belonging, if you abide by the rules, if you toe the line, and if you embrace their culture, you'll be fine. You'll be welcomed in. You know what? I can even fly the Union Jack or the George Cross here if I want. Nobody bats an eyelid. In fact, They applaud it. But patriotism is welcome here. Patriotism is not deemed as being racist, it's just classed as being a patriotic person. So there are two very big differences between the two. Okay, so let's move off that subject and move on pretty quick. With regards to immigration, we know there's undocumented immigrants all over the world. The Philippines, I would say, are one of the most organised. I mean, they're up there. You can't get into the Philippines. You cannot cross the border in the Philippines if you've got a criminal record. If you're wanted in your own country, if there's any misdemeanors against you, they simply will not let you into the country. If you do manage to get into the country and you are found to be on that list, they'll find you and they'll kick you out. If you overstay here, they will find you and they will kick you out. You know, you can't just come here and say, oh, I'm going to stay here forever now. There's a process you've got to go through. When you first arrive in the country, you've got a 30-day free visa allowance. And if you want to extend while you're here for whatever reason, the next step is to obtain a 29-day extension, which makes it 59 days. And then after the 59 days, if you want to extend again, you have to apply for what they call I've got it right in front of me and I can't even tell you what the name is. It's an alien certificate of registration. It's one of these things here, this card here. Alien certificate of registration. So you have to register yourself, and that costs money. And then after that, after you've obtained this, you can extend your visa by a further month or 2 months at a time. I think they stopped the 6-month extension temporarily. I don't know if they've started it again yet, but you could extend for 6 months, and that's the way it is. It's a controlled system, unlike what they've got at home, it seems. If you're married here, I mean, that's the visitor's visa is a 9A visa. If you're married here, you can then apply for what they call a 13A visa. You've got to go through various requirements to get one of those. You've got to have a National Bureau of Investigation clearance and all sorts of other requirements, which we can go through in another video. So on that side of it, the two differences. So I think the Philippines has just gone 3 up, and it's not even half time yet. So that's the immigration. We'll touch on that a little bit later. But as I say, initially the first couple of months is getting used to it, and then you're settling down, getting used to the weather, getting used to everything else, and then blending in with the culture, embracing the culture, and it's a great place to be. It's totally different. It's totally different to the UK. I've lost a lot of stress lines here. I've still got a couple, but I've learned to relax and be a lot calm. I still lose my rag every now and again, and I still get a bit grumpy every now and again, but I'm far more relaxed now, and I've got a lovely way of life here. We own the house, we own the lot. My wife owns the land, obviously, because I can't, but we both own the house that's sitting on it, and we're just living a good life. It's not, I don't earn a substantial amount, I don't bring in a substantial amount each month, but it's very comfortable for us, which brings me to the next bit. And the next bit, I've probably touched on this before, the cost of living in the Philippines. Cost of living has gone up, not so much, but it's gone up recently. Rice is a little bit more expensive and stuff like that. Food has gone up, but not a great deal. Bills, utility bills for us. We have electric bill. We don't have a water bill because we use our own water pump system. We have Wi-Fi over there in the corner. We pay for that on a monthly basis. The Wi-Fi is not the fastest in the world, but it works. It's suitable. It's fast enough for what I need. I mean, if I was sort of like on the laptop every day doing emails every day and sort of like we keep having brownouts and whatever. Brownouts is another thing over here. We don't get them in the UK unless there's a power strike, but brownouts are a bit of a pain in the backside, but you just get used to it, you just get over it. But yeah, the Wi-Fi is another bill. I think that's it really. You could actually put food in there. We don't have a rent bill because we own the house, so that's out of the equation. But I could put a food bill in there. We don't actually do a regular weekly shop. I sort of tend to buy necessities every month, sort of go out and not much, just things like coffee, tea, sugar, cooking oil, cleaning stuff, you know, just the basic essentials. But from eating wise, I don't really go out and do a massive food shop, so I can't really put that into sort of like a figure for you, because it's, for me, my wife works. She goes to work 6 days a week, and she gets free food at work. She gets free meals at work. I, on the other hand, go down to my local Carinderia. For those of you that don't know what a Carinderia is, it's like a cafe. It's a local cafe, a local eatery they call it here, and I eat quite well there. I mean, I eat very well. I mean, I have a massive, great big plonk of rice. I have 2 lots of vegetables. I have a couple of boiled eggs. I have a soft drink, and I have a meat dish every now and again. And it's always around about 165 pesos, which is £2 something. Very minimal, £2 something. Where can you do that in the UK? You can't even get a tin of beans for that, can you? Or beans and sausage? I don't know. I know they're about £1 a tin, aren't they? But it's very cheap to live here. Even takeaways, you know, you could go to places like some fast food outlets here are reasonably cheap. There's also a lot of street vendors here. On the way home from picking the wife up, on the way home, we passed loads and loads of street food vendors selling barbecued pork and stuff like that, and it's great. The food's really good, it's freshly cooked, and we pick that up and we have that. So we don't really basically go out and do a weekly shop. It's totally different here. Whereas in the UK, you go to the supermarket and do your weekly shop, right? You know, you go to one of the big high street supermarkets and do your weekly shopping. In general, it's around about 100, 150. I don't know, it depends on how big your family is, but I used to spend about 150, about 100, 150 pound a week, almost, on food. And it don't last long. But here, I don't do that in a month. Seriously, don't spend that in a month on food. So my disposable income at the end of all my bills, and if I want to put the food in there, I would guess that my disposable income, which means all the excess money that I've got, I can either save it, or we can buy some luxuries, or go out, or go somewhere, go on a special night out. We've got far much more disposable income here in the Philippines. The UK, disposable income, nothing, no chance. I mean, you struggle to pay your bills there. It's you know, you wake up in the middle of the night wondering how you're gonna pay the next bill. It's so stressful. Here, absolutely no stress at all. I wake up in the morning, have a nice cup of coffee out on the patio, looking at the view of the mountains, as opposed to UK. I wake up, if I've got any coffee left, I drink tea at home, but I haven't got a view to look at, bit of concrete. It's totally different. The atmosphere, the area. This is very quiet. I live in a province which is just outside the city. It's near enough to the city to go and do all the normal bits and pieces, but it's very quiet here. Everybody knows everybody. Well, sometimes that's not the best thing. Try and keep your private life to yourself. It's quite difficult here, but it can be done. But yeah, it's very relaxed. We've got the beach just down the road there. you know, sometimes we take the dog for a walk on the beach after she's finished work. It's just very, very relaxed. I haven't felt that way in the UK for 10, 15 years or 20 years. But here, I've been here a year and a half, and it's just a completely different way of life. Really is a completely different way of life. So any of you young men or young ladies or couples that are aspiring to come out to the Philippines, a little word of advice for you. I've seen vloggers come here and they've come and gone because basically they've come with an idea that doesn't work. You need financial support to come here. If you haven't got the financial backing, don't do it. If you have, do yourself a favour, come and do some reconnaissance. You know, spend a bit of time out here, longer than 2 weeks. 2 weeks, you're not going to see a microscopic amount of the Philippines. Vloggers saying that I've been to the best part of the Philippines. Well, you've been here 2 weeks. How would you know 7,000 plus islands here? Take you years to find out the best place. There are some really, really nice places here, but tourist places that everybody knows about and everybody goes to. The problem is it does get a bit over touristy. You know, if you want peace and quiet, do what I've done, move to the province. So again, I think just after half time, there's a fourth goal gone in. So Philippines has just gone 4 up with about 5 minutes to go. So essentially, I can tell you that my life since I've been here has changed dramatically, and personally for me, for the better. There are other stories on here that, on the YouTube that has gone the other way, but I'm speaking personally. My life has changed for the better. I can't see me anytime soon going back or even wanting to go back to the UK. The only time I'll do that is if I to go and visit family. I mean, my son came out last Christmas to visit me, which was really nice. First time in Asia. The rest of the family, I would really like to go and see them, but I can't really see that happening anytime soon, particularly because of what's going on over there at the moment. So yeah, that's essentially about it, really. I mean, there's nothing more to add. I think previous videos I've covered quite a lot, you know, expenses and stuff. But if you need any information, you've got any questions, you've got any comments you want to make regarding any of the topics I've touched on today, leave some comments in the section down below. If you like what you've seen, if you like what you hear, like and subscribe. I appreciate all the subscribers. I think I'm on 580 now. I'm just a very small tadpole in a massive, great sea of popular vloggers. So I'm not expecting to make any money out of this. I'm just doing it for fun and giving you some information. So if there's any info that you want from me and I can help in any way, just give us a shout. I'm not going to give you any addresses on here for obvious reasons, but I'm going to obviously get a few dodgy comments, as you always do. I've seen a couple of vloggers having a go at each other, you know, different nationalities, pulling different nationalities. Come on, guys, be nice to each other. You know, life's too short to be arguing. You know, you come out here to relax, not to stress yourself out with. If you've got any comments to make, just make them. I'll read them and I'll try to answer everybody. That's about it for today. Sorry it's been such a long time. I'll try and do another video soon, as and when I get round to it. But in the meantime, as I always say, drink plenty of water, be lucky, stay safe, be nice to each other, enjoy yourself, enjoy your life. Until the next time, I'll catch you later.